The old world is dying. We feel it everywhere in the economy, in our politics and technology, and even in the silence between us. Every single system that was built to control us is crumbling. Every voice that once dictated the truth now sounds completely hollow. The narrative of control, it's breaking apart. But hear us what most people don't realize. A new story is already being written. One that isn't rooted in fear, power, or hierarchy, but in consciousness, clarity, and purpose. I'm George's Samman. Welcome to the Collapse. This is episode 4, The Rise of the New Narrative from Control to Consciousness. For centuries, our society has been governed by one dominant story: control over nature, control over other people, and most importantly, control over the truth. Governments controlled the laws. Religions controlled the path to salvation. Corporations controlled your time, your habits, even your attention. And for the longest time, many of us believed this was normal. We thought it was necessary. But now, we are witnessing what the Bible calls the shaking of all things. Everything that can be shaken is being shaken because anything that isn't rooted in truth simply cannot stand. The illusion of control is cracking right open. And what's being exposed isn't just corruption, it's emptiness. A deep, profound void at the center of it all. But this moment was not unforeseen. The prophet spoke of it. In the book of Daniel, chapter 2, he interpreted a king's dream about a great statue representing a series of empires. They were built on fragile foundations: gold, silver, bronze, and finally iron mixed with clay. Each kingdom seemed stronger than the last, but it was also more unstable. Then you look at Revelation chapter 13, where a beast rises not with compassion or truth, but with the power to dominate, to deceive, and to enslave. This wasn't science fiction. It was a pattern. Control always begins with promises of security and order, and it always ends in collapse. Jesus himself warned us in Matthew 24, saying, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." And many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. That isn't just ancient news. That's our current reality. But collapse is not the end. It's a threshold. It's a doorway. Because in the very space where old systems fail, the human soul can finally breathe. The old narrative of control kept us small. It told us to follow, not to question, to obey, not to awaken. But now consciousness is rising quietly, but with undeniable power. All around the world, people are beginning to ask themselves the real questions. What do I truly believe? What is actually real? Why am I here? This isn't chaos. This is an awakening. And it was written, "Wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." This isn't just about religion. It's about revelation. The moment we stop outsourcing our truth to others, we finally start living it for ourselves. So how does this new narrative actually work in our lives? It doesn't begin with governments or giant institutions. It begins with you. It's not about trying to control the world around you. It's about transforming how you see it. The new narrative moves from blind obedience to conscious awareness. It shifts from living in fear to walking in faith. It changes the goal from gaining status to being of service. It trades the illusion of control for the reality of connection. This new way of being reclaims what was lost. It rebuilds not systems, but souls. And the most revolutionary act you can take in a collapsing world is this: to stay conscious, to refuse the lies, to hold your peace in the middle of widespread panic. This is spiritual rebellion. So what do you do now? Where do you even start? You don't need to escape the collapse. You need to become anchored in it. Here's a simple starting point. First, ask yourself, what false story have I been believing about myself and the world? Second, start removing anything in your life that's built on control, whether it's relationships, beliefs, or habits that keep you small. And third, replace it with conscious choices rooted in love, truth, and alignment with your true purpose. Stay grounded in the Word. Let prophecy be your map, not the source of your fear. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That transformation is the true purpose of this entire collapse. This is your moment. It's not a time to run from the collapse, but to step right through it. The world is writing a new chapter, and you are not just a passive observer. You are a sentence, you are a message. So now I want you to do something bold. First, subscribe to this channel because we are not stopping here. Second, comment below and tell me, what old system are you letting go of right now? And finally, share this video. Someone out there is still stuck in the old story, and you could be the signal that wakes them up. Remember, this collapse is not the end of the world. It's the end of the lie. The new narrative has already begun. Before we go, think about this. We live in the noisiest era in human history. Every single second, we're bombarded with distraction, division, and distortion. It's exactly what the prophet Amos described thousands of years ago. He said, "The days are coming when I will send a famine through the land, not a famine of food or a thirst for water, but a famine of hearing the words of the Lord." We're not lacking content. We are starving for truth. The new narrative truly begins when we finally decide to turn off all that noise and tune into the still, small voice within. And I'll see you in episode 5 in the next episode. We're going even deeper into prophecy and into the battle that's coming. We'll be talking about the power beyond systems, faith, community, and the resurrection of hope. We'll expose the rising forces of global deception. We'll explore how the stage for what the Bible calls Armageddon is already being prepared. And we'll ask the critical question, what does it truly mean to live in God's grace when the world around you feels like it's turning to dust? If you're still here listening to this, you're ready.